Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I'm your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim Matthews. Tim, what's going down, brother?
Yeah, just talking about the Alpha Reset. Always fun. Got a few of those coming up. One next week. I'm all scheduled for next year, along with the Brotherhood events and the Inner Circle events and the retreats for the guys in the one-on-one. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So when this is released, we will be conducting an Alpha Reset in Bend, Oregon. So there'll be 13 men descending upon Bend, Oregon. And that's going to be an amazing transformational experience. We have 4 of them booked for 2022, an Alpha Reboot, also booked, multiple Brotherhood and Inner Circle events, as well as a bunch of other things in our sleeve that are already booked and on the calendar, and they've already filling up really fast. So 2022 is looking to be another amazing year. I mean, we just got back from Tulum, which we talked about in a previous episode, and that was awesome. So I'm excited about this Alpha Reset as well.
Sure. Yeah, me too. It's going to be a great way to end the year. It'll be a great way to go into next year.
Yeah. Speaking of the Alpha Reset, we got another question that was thrown our way, Tim, by David. And David asks, what do you do when you are so disengaged from the relationship that you stop listening, you stop being present, and you start dreaming of divorce, of other women, and how the grass is greener on the other side, et cetera, et cetera? So what do you do in that situation, Tim?
You get off the fence.
Boom. Good episode.
Yeah, done. Look, if you don't want to be in, then don't be in. And don't kid yourself that the grass is greener.
Yeah.
Because it might be for a real short period of time. And then if you haven't done the work on yourself to be the man that you know you're capable of being in the relationship and outside of it, because it goes hand in hand. If you've not done that work, then guess what? Chances are you're going to arrive at the same problems in the next relationship. They're going to show up. They just will. The only way they won't show up is if you get into a relationship with a woman that doesn't challenge you, that just kind of rolls over. And yeah, I don't know, it might sound nice, but it'll get really boring. And then you'll kind of think, oh God, this is boring. Maybe the grass is greener. And the pattern repeats. So I really invite you to lean in and challenge that belief or idea that the grass might be greener. Look at whether you've done the work on yourself and just get off the fence. And if you're on the fence, where else are you on the fence in other areas of your life? Because I bet this is probably a pattern for you, being 1 foot in, 1 foot out versus being decisive. Maybe, if you look at the 5 territories, where else, right? Maybe it's in health, maybe it's in business. Where is it? Because it will be showing up. And you just got to make sure that you break that cycle.
And that's 100% it. It really is get off the fence, right? I was having a conversation yesterday, Tim, with one of our one-on-one coaching clients, the guys that we work with one-on-one at a higher level. And it was a similar thing. I was like, look, you can be 2 feet in or you can be 2 feet out. The worst thing you can do, and I've been there, we've all been there, is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. 1, it's horrible for you. 2, it's horrible for your partner, right? Neither of you are getting what you want. And you'll never know. You'll always wonder, what if? What if I fully committed? And I asked this guy one simple question. And I'm asking you guys listening to this right now. Think about your marriage. It's going to be a yes, no caveats, no asterisks, just a yes, no question. Do you want to be married to your wife? And as you know, Tim, sometimes guys come through the program and they choose to get divorced. They choose to leave the relationship for whatever reasons, a whole myriad of them. And we help them with that, right? Like I told this guy, I'm on your side regardless. It's up to you. And I'll give you the guidance to do either. You can either gracefully exit this relationship or you can get into it in a deeper way. What do you want? And he wanted to stay in. And it was a very similar situation that whenever you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you'll always be looking elsewhere. It's the same thing in business, guys. When you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out of your business, it's not going to perform well. There's always going to be issues. But when you're 2 feet in, you're able to really dive in. And that's when you see exponential growth. And this starts with you, right? This starts by working on your side of the street first, working on what you need to work on, and figuring out what's going on for you. And odds are, if you're disengaged in the relationship, there's probably other areas that you're disengaged in, other areas that you're not being present. Because the fact of being present really starts with being attuned to yourself. That's really where it is. And if you're not present in the situation, your mind's somewhere else, you're doing this in other areas of your life, right? This is as we do one thing, we do all type situation. You're always going to be looking at it. And the other thing I can tell this guy with 100% assurance is the commonality that's going to go from one relationship to another for you is you. You're going to take the same issues you're having in your marriage are going to show up in other relationships until you fix your part of it. Now, we have guys that have gone through the activation method and have separated from the partner for whatever reason, either left it too late or, for some reason they've decided to leave, and they've carried on with us through the other programs that we offer because they're seeing the benefits. Now, for those men that have gotten into new relationships or relationships that are available to them are totally different. And what I mean by that is they know exactly what they want, and they've raised the stock value of their own lives. They're better men, and they love themselves more. They have better capacity in every area of their life. The women that show up for them are much more amazing women, quite honestly. Right. And so that happens. And so in that sense, the grass could be greener, but that grass is only greener because they did all the work to get there, right? To build it. If you jump ship for the barista at Starbucks who looks hot and she's in her 20s or whatever, sure, that'll be fun for a little while, right? And then a whole other set of baggage, comes up. A whole other set of problems come up, and your baggage is still going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I think of the times in my life when I've considered this, and that's why it's called a fantasy, right? Because it really is.
Well, it's just not true. We all do it, right? Let's be clear there. But when you're committed, you burn the ship, so to speak, in your relationship, let's say your marriage in this situation. First of all, you're going to be present when you do that because you're in, just like your business, right? And so how do you do that? Let's talk about that. We've already made it really clear that you need to be 2 feet in or 2 feet out. It's the only way it works. I've tried it toes out. I've tried toes in and all the other feet out. I've done it every friggin' way. And we've seen guys try it every single way. It almost looks like a game of Twister. The guys have tried. It just doesn't work. When you're 2 feet in, you can do things. So how do you get there? Right? Let's say you answer that question. Yes, I want to stay with my wife. Yes, I want to try to work things out. Yes, I'm willing to be 2 feet in, but then how do I get myself to be more engaged in the relationship? Right? I can see that being the next question that might come up. And what you want to do is sit down and make a list of all the reasons you want to be married to this person. And now what I want you to do is start a gratitude practice. Okay. Every day, I want you to list out 5 reasons, 5 things you're grateful for your wife. Just 5. Now, I get it that if she's pissing you off and there's things going on, it's going to be tough. But is she raising your kids? Did she give birth to your kids? Does she cook you dinner? I don't know. Make them easy, but 5 every day. Do that for 30 days. Go all in on this marriage for 30 days minimum. And that includes every single day, just like you brush your teeth. And Tim, what I had this guy do is I said, put your journal by your toothbrush, because he told me, Doug, I brush my teeth twice a day and I never miss it, ever. Cool. Put your grateful journal by your toothbrush. Every time you brush your teeth, you got to write down 5 things you're grateful for about your partner. And the crazy thing, when I did this practice with my wife, guys, my wife totally changed. It was amazing. It's as if writing in the journal changed my wife. Now, we all know that didn't happen like that. What happened is I changed. The way I viewed and treated my wife naturally changed through this process. Thus, my wife reacted to my leadership in their marriage, in the relationship. There's a lot of other things you can do. We teach a lot of them in the activation method, but this is an easy, simple one that you guys can do. First, you got to decide, do I want to be married to my wife? Yes or no? No caveat. I don't want to hear the story. I don't care what she did. I don't care what you did. Yes or no? Stop there. If it's no, then you got to exit. If it's yes, then okay. Are you willing to be 2 feet in? Yes or no? No story. No, I don't care about the past. I know your situation is different. And if it's yes, then great. Okay, here's some things you can do to be present. You're still going to fantasize about other women. Like I've never met a guy in my life, Tim, that hasn't fantasized about other women in his marriage. I just haven't. I've never met a guy that said, oh, no. I know guys that stop looking at porn. I know guys that stop looking at other women purposefully because it's distracting from the marriage. And here's the flip side. I hate to tell you, bud, your wife's doing the same thing. Your wife's fantasizing about other dudes. It's true. Doesn't mean she's acting on it. It's just natural. And that's okay. But you got to be all in your marriage, all in your relationship. And that's where it starts. And when you're all in and things are great, you can actually share these fantasies with each other. And that can be a really fun thing if you're open to it, right? It doesn't have to be taboo. It could be something you guys could talk about. And I know couples that are very open, Tim, and they talk about other men and women that they run into. And, oh, I saw this sexy guy or this sexy barista at Starbucks. And they take that sexual energy to each other, their partners. Because look, at least for me, I can tell you guys with 100% confidence, I'm not the best looking guy in the world. So I got to expect my wife's going to be out in this world and she's going to see some hot guys. And that's going to naturally turn her on. I'm not that egoic that I think I'm the only person my wife ever thinks about. That'd be crazy. So why pretend like that? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's a real opportunity here, right? When you get off the fence, it opens you up to so many things, right? Because as well, when you're off the fence, you have certainty. And when you have certainty, you're able to have these kind of conversations from a secure, certain place, right? Instead of an insecure place. But it all starts with you. You've got to get off the fence. And I do wonder how your wife is reacting to you right now, because she can feel that you're on the fence, right?
Yeah.
So likelihood is if you're not getting your needs met right now, hence thinking about other women, the grass is greener, all that kind of stuff, I wonder whether part of you not getting your needs met, like I said, is because you're on the fence, right? And I wonder what would be different for you if you was off the fence and all in.
The amazing thing for this guy and his wife is this gentleman will be with me at the Alpha Reset when this comes out. And so I will report back.
Ooh.
I am going to so I will be bringing this to him specifically.
Wow.
And so one thing that happens at the Alpha Reset, guys, with 100% certainty is you know whether you're going to be 2 feet in or 2 feet out. Like you just know, you have a knowing, just like you know gravity exists. If you throw a rock up, it's going to come down. You just know it. The Alpha Reset provides that level of knowing about you and different areas of your life. So that's going to be really fun to see him. But I also know a lot of guys are in this situation, right? And I certainly have been 2 feet in, 2 feet out, or excuse me, 1 foot in, 1 foot out many, many times. And of course, you have that classic picture. You see a guy with 1 foot on the dock, 1 foot on the boat, and the boat starts to leave.
Yeah.
The reason we do that, right, is because we're scared. We do that because we're scared if we go 2 feet in that we're going to get hurt. We're scared that if we go 2 feet in, she's going to cheat on me. She's going to leave me. She's going to to me. That means my feelings of love, my feelings of self-importance are external of me. I have lost control is what that means. I am now in a beta mode. I've been there, and I get a lot of you guys are stopping the podcast right now because you don't want to hear this, but it's true. When you're 2 feet in, you're going in with reckless abandon like you did when you started dating. And now the passion starts to come up. And guess what? She may hurt you. She may leave you, or you may leave. But at least you're in something that's thriving, right? You're in something that you're actually going for. And that's the difference, right? It's a subtlety, But one comes from fear. The 1 foot in, 1 foot out is 100% out of a scarcity mindset, a fear mindset. Because for whatever reason, you're scared she's going to take your money. You're scared she's going to do this. You're scared that this is going to happen. That's fear. 2 feet in is it's called courage, is doing it anyway, or 2 feet out. 2 feet out's the same way. I'm not saying you should stay with your wife. I'm not saying that at all. That's a decision every man and woman gets to make on their own. Right. And for this guy, he's in our program. We'll support him any way that he chooses. But I'm going to make an assumption that he wants to be in the marriage. He just wants the marriage to be better. He wants his wife to be better. Right. And that starts with you going 2 feet in. You can't expect to be the leader in your marriage, but yet expect your wife to make the first move. I lead my marriage. I'm the alpha. I'm the king of my castle, but I'll do it all when my wife is all in first. Then I'll be all in. That's not a leader. And again, I say this with sympathy and empathy because I've been there. I've done this. So I speak from experience, and it's embarrassing for me to admit. I was sharing with the guys, Tim, on the inner circle call. I was like, look, it's embarrassing sometimes for me to come on the podcast or videos and share some of the past. I feel more comfortable doing it now than I did when I first started talking about it. But it's embarrassing because you're like, oh man, look at me. I can't believe that I thought, I'm the king here. I rule this house. I make the money. I do this. And I'll go 2 feet in this marriage and I'll show you the best husband you ever have when you do it first. I was like, whoa, if I think about that, I was just reacting. I was in deer mode. I was just reacting to whatever my wife did. Ooh, that's not a leader. Ooh, that's a beta. And that's a tough pill for a lot of us men, especially as business owners, to swallow. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to swallow. So any parting advice for this gentleman and those listening that find themselves in the same situation, Tim?
I think we've covered a lot of great ground. Just take action on this, right? I know I say it a lot, but it's so easy not to take action. It's so easy to skip to the next podcast. It's so easy, So if I were you and anything from this resonated, and maybe you're driving right now or you're on the move, then I would make a commitment to myself to sit down with this in the morning, maybe during your Alpha Rise and Shine, re-listen, take notes, and write down what you're going to actually act on this. And look, if you've got any questions, head over to the Facebook group. You can ask them there and we'll answer you. We'll get back to you. But just take action. Don't be the guy that listens and just stays stagnant. It's the worst position you can be in, because the reality is now, if this resonates, you cannot ever claim that you don't know. You can't claim ignorance anymore, right? Which is, a great position to be in, but also a very vulnerable position, right? Because you can't claim ignorance, you then must take some kind of action. You just got to do it.
Yeah. If you don't know, you can kind of throw up your hands and mea culpa, right? But once you know better, that's on you, right? That's accountability. That's where it's up to you to make that call and start doing it. And it's interesting. If I'm going to leave with just a story, Tim, before I let the guys go, and it's a story about the man on the mountain. And so the way the story goes is there's a wise man who sat on top of a mountain, and people would come to this wise man every single day, and they'd bring the same problems over and over again. And as the group this morning, the sun is rising and the people are there. The wise man, came out of his cabin where he lived, and he greeted all of the followers, all the people that had come to see him, hundreds. And unceremonially, the wise man told the joke, and everybody laughed, right? It's a good joke. They look up to this guy, good time. So he sat there and he told the joke the second time, same joke. About half the people laughed. Then he told the joke the third time, and the same joke the fourth time. And by this time, nobody was laughing. And the wise man said, "Isn't it funny that you hear the same joke just 3-4 times and you don't react, you don't laugh? Yet you come here, you come to me and your friends and your family with the same problems, the same stories over and over again, and yet you continue to cry about them." I think that resonates here. Because a lot of times we tend to carry around stories and burdens and stories about our partners and stories about how it would be better. They're just stories. If you keep telling yourself the same thing over and over again, when are you going to let it go? We need to give up to it. Be the wise man on the mountain. Take action.
Love it.
Gentlemen, that's a wrap for us at the Powerful Man Show. As Tim said, in the moment of insight, take some massive action. Don't use this as just as educational masturbation and going on from one thing to another, thinking that you're developing and growing when you know you're just listening to two guys talking. Take action. That's where the work really begins. See you next time on the Powerful Man Show.